Okay, let's unpack this. We are taking, well, the ultimate shortcut into the most complex machine on Earth for you. Our mission today is a rapid yet um, comprehensive deep dive into human anatomy, the essential blueprint. We're aiming to distill the structure and function of the 11 major organ systems using our source material, looking for those insights that, turn a list of facts into real understanding.
That's exactly right. And anatomy, fundamentally, it's the study of structure and organization. So before we even get to listing the systems, our sources lay out this foundational hierarchy that just makes sense of it all. You start tiny, with cells, the smallest functional units. These then organize into tissues. Tissues form organs, and then organs cooperate in these broader organ systems. It's quite elegant, actually.
And we need sort of two lenses to see this structure clearly, don't we? We've got gross anatomy or macroscopic anatomy. That's the parts we can actually see with the naked eye, like, say, the shape of a lung or a bone.
Right. And then, crucially, there's microscopic anatomy, also called histology, that forces us to zoom way in, focusing on the tissues and the cells themselves. You really can't grasp how the lung works without seeing the structure of the tissues inside it. You certainly need both perspectives.
Absolutely. So this deep dive isn't just about lifting systems. We're connecting them. We want to show why anatomy is so critical for understanding function, how everything from the tiniest cell in your kidney to, say, your femur relies on something else.
A perfect starting point is the command centers, the systems handling control and communication.
Okay, kicking off with the nervous system, this is the body's lightning-fast response team, its main job. Instant control and coordination. Our sources break it down neatly into two main parts. You have the central nervous system, the CNS, that's the brain and spinal cord, your core processor, and then the peripheral nervous system, or PNS. That's the vast network of nerves extending outside that central hub.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here is that this whole intricate system relies on one tiny specialist, the neuron. That's the basic functional unit. It's a cell uniquely built to transmit electrical impulses. And that capability is why the nervous system can react in, well, milliseconds. It's incredibly fast.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me looking at the brain itself. The division of labor there, there's real functional specialization happening. The cerebrum, the big part, that's your control panel for thinking, memory, voluntary actions.
But then you have the cerebellum tucked away. Kind of the hidden star, maybe? It's almost entirely dedicated to balance and coordination, making sure your movements are smooth, deliberate, not jerky. And finally, the brainstem. This handles the automatic, non-negotiable stuff. Breathing, heartbeat, reflexes, things you thankfully don't have to consciously manage.
Right, thank goodness. So if the nervous system's like a rapid-fire text message, how does the endocrine system fit in? The other major control system, but different.
It is different. It's the slower chemical control system, and that difference in speed is actually key for your health. The endocrine system uses glands, think pituitary, thyroid, adrenals, that secrete hormones directly into the bloodstream. So these hormones travel around and manage things needing long-term sustained regulation, like growth, your metabolism rate, reproduction.
Okay, so it's more like regulatory mail, not an instant message. That makes sense. Our notes list the major players: pituitary, thyroid, adrenals, pancreas, and the gonads, testes, or ovaries, all working together for those long-term processes.
Exactly. And that focus on structure and long-term function is a perfect bridge to structural support and movement. We've got the control centers. Now we need the physical framework to support them and allow action.
Right. Let's talk skeletal system. The body's fundamental framework. It gives us shape, provides support, and importantly, protects our soft internal organs. We all know the standard fact, right? 206 bones in an adult body.
Yes, but what genuinely struck me in these notes is that the skeletal system isn't just static scaffolding. It's not just inert beams. It's actually a factory. One of its vital, maybe less obvious functions is producing blood cells. Red cells, white cells, platelets. This happens actively inside the bone marrow, which makes bone marrow an essential partner to the circulatory and immune systems. It's doing much more than just holding you up.
Wow, okay, that's a great point. And for that framework to actually move, you need connections, dynamic ones. We define joints simply as where two bones meet. Fair enough. But the distinction between the connective tissues here, this seems really crucial for the listener, ligaments. Those are the tough, somewhat elastic bands connecting bone to bone, right? Providing stability.
Precisely, bone-to-bone stability. Whereas tendons are the strong, fibrous cords connecting muscles to bones. They transmit the force generated by the muscle to actually move the bone. Think of the skeleton as levers, and tendons are the cables pulling those levers.
Okay, that visual helps. Which brings us perfectly to the muscular system. Its primary function is enabling action movement, maintaining your posture against gravity, even generating heat.
Mm-hmm. And we generally break muscles down into three main types based on control and location. You've got skeletal muscle, which is voluntary. You decide to move it. It's attached to your bones, used for walking, lifting, talking. Then there's smooth muscle. That's involuntary. Found lining the walls of your internal organs, like your stomach or blood vessels, works automatically. And finally, cardiac muscle. Totally specialized, found only in the heart. Also involuntary, thank goodness, ensuring that pump keeps beating reliably.
Okay, so we have the framework, the connections, the motors. Now we definitely need a transport and cargo exchange network, which leads us nicely to the circulatory and respiratory systems.
Yes, the circulatory or cardiovascular system. It's the ultimate delivery network, nonstop. Its job is transporting vital stuff, oxygen, nutrients, hormones to every single cell, while simultaneously picking up and removing metabolic waste products like carbon dioxide.
And the engine driving it all is the four-chambered heart. Two upper chambers, the atria, and two lower, more muscular chambers, the ventricles. We define the main vessels by direction, right? Arteries carry blood away from the heart.
Usually oxygenated, though there's a key exception with the pulmonary artery.
Ah, good point. And veins carry blood back towards the heart.
Typically deoxygenated blood, again with the pulmonary vein exception.
Okay.
But the real magic, the real insight from the sources happens at the micro level, in the capillaries. These are microscopic, incredibly thin-walled vessels. They form vast networks within the tissues. Think of arteries and veins as highways, but capillaries are like the local service roads. This is where the blood slows right down, allowing the actual exchange. Oxygen and nutrients drop off into the tissues, and carbon dioxide and waste get picked up from the tissues. They are absolutely crucial. Life depends on this exchange.
That exchange point flows perfectly into the next system, the respiratory system. The gas exchange specialist. Its job sounds simple, but it's vital. Oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. Key structures are the lungs, obviously, plus the airways leading to them, the trachea, the bronchi.
Yeah, the lungs are basically just these incredible organs designed for maximizing surface area for that exchange. And within the lungs, the core mechanism centers on the alveoli. These are millions of tiny balloon-like air sacs. Their walls are incredibly thin, just one cell thick sometimes. This thinness is what allows oxygen from the air you breathe in to easily cross into the surrounding capillaries, and for carbon dioxide to cross out of the blood and into the alveoli to be breathed out.
And critically, none of that happens passively. It's not just diffusion. The diaphragm, that large dome-shaped muscle sitting right beneath your lungs, is the primary driver. It contracts to pull air, inhale, and relaxes to push air out. Exhale, it creates the pressure differences needed for breathing. It's the constant mechanical force.
Absolutely. So let's shift gears slightly now to the final group of systems. We can think of these as covering intake, output, and defense, how the body processes energy, manages waste, protects itself, and sort of maintains its internal environment. Let's start with the digestive system.
Okay, the body's disassembly line. It's a sequential process, really. First, it breaks down the food you eat mechanically and chemically. Then it absorbs the useful nutrients from that food. And finally, it eliminates the indigestible waste products. The path is quite long, starts at the mouth, then down the esophagus into the stomach, through the winding small intestine where most absorption happens, then the large intestine, rectum, and finally out the anus.
Mhm. But the digestive tract itself can't do it all alone. It needs massive help. That's where the accessory organs are vital. The liver produces bile, essential for breaking down fats. The pancreas makes crucial digestive enzymes that break down carbs, proteins, and fats further. It also produces bicarbonate to neutralize stomach acid. And the gallbladder. It's basically a storage pouch for the bile made by the liver, releasing it when needed. The whole system needs this collaboration to work effectively.
Got it. So once nutrients are absorbed, we need to handle the waste products of metabolism and maintain fluid balance. That's the excretory or urinary system. Its functions are really twofold. Remove nitrogenous wastes like urea from the blood and maintain the body's critical water and electrolyte balance. It's like the internal regulator for your fluid levels.
Yeah, and the undisputed star player here is the pair of kidneys. They are incredible filters, constantly filtering your blood, removing waste products, adjusting water levels, and concentrating all that into urine. The rest of the system, the ureters carrying urine from kidneys, the bladder storing it, the urethra releasing it, that's essentially the plumbing for transport and storage. The kidneys do the main chemical work.
Makes sense. Next up, the immune system, your body's internal defense force. Its mission is constant vigilance, defending the body against pathogens, bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites, anything foreign and potentially harmful.
And the defense strategy is multi-layered. It's quite sophisticated. You have general defenses like various types of white blood cells that engulf invaders or signal alerts. You have physical checkpoints like lymph nodes and the spleen that filter lymph and blood. But maybe the most specific defense comes from antibodies. These are specialized proteins produced by certain white blood cells. They're designed to recognize and lock on to very specific foreign invaders, neutralizing them or marking them for destruction, like highly targeted missiles.
Okay, then we have the body's external barrier, the integumentary system. This includes your skin, hair, and nails. The skin is often overlooked, but it's actually the largest organ in the body.
Absolutely. And its functions go way beyond just being a protective wrapper.
Nice.
It's critical for regulating body temperature through sweating to cool down or changes in blood flow and goosebumps to conserve heat. Plus, it's packed with sensory receptors, allowing us to sense touch, pressure, pain, and temperature from the outside world. Our sources detail its layers too: the outer epidermis, the middle dermis with glands, follicles, vessels, and the inner hypodermis, mostly fat.
And finally, rounding out our tour of the 11 systems, we have the one dedicated to continuation of the species, the reproductive system.
In males, the key components are the testes, which produce sperm and the primary male hormone, testosterone. In females, we have the ovaries, producing eggs and female hormones like estrogen and progesterone. And of course, the uterus, which provides the protective environment for fetal development during pregnancy.
Okay, phew. We've completed the structural tour. That's a lot of systems. But to really master anatomy, to talk about it clearly, you need the standard language, the reference point. So let's quickly cover that, the necessary language for any learner.
Yeah, this is absolutely essential for clarity. Otherwise, descriptions become hopelessly ambiguous. First, we always define the anatomical position as the standard reference. That means standing upright, facing directly forward, arms hanging down at the sides, with the palms of the hands facing forward. Everything is described relative to this position.
Got it. Standing straight, palms forward. And then the directional terms, which eliminate guesswork, they usually come in pairs. Let's see. Anterior means the front of the body. Posterior means the back, like your nose is anterior to your ears.
Correct. Then superior means towards the head or above, while inferior means towards the feet or below. So for instance, your heart is superior to your stomach is inferior to your heart.
Okay, that's clear. And the last key pair, medial means toward the midline of the body, while lateral means away from the midline towards the sides. So your lungs are lateral to your heart, which sits medially between them.
Exactly. Using just those few pairs, anterior, posterior, superior, inferior, medial, lateral, gives you an instant GPS for locating almost anything in the body relative to something else.
It really is the organizational key to applying all these structural facts we've just discussed.
Absolutely.
So stepping back, what does this all mean? We've taken this whirlwind tour. We've seen how these 11 systems, from the coordinating neurons sending split-second signals to the dynamic bone marrow actually producing blood cells, all work together. It's incredibly seamless most of the time.
It really underscores that understanding structure of the anatomy is the absolute foundation for understanding the physiology. How things work depends intimately on how they are built. We learned the skeleton isn't just passive support, it's a factory. The capillaries aren't just pipes, they're crucial exchange stations. The nervous system provides instant communication, but relies on the endocrine system for that long-term stability. It's all interconnected.
Yeah, the sources gave us this really intricate roadmap of connections. We now know the skeletal system makes blood cells, the cerebellum handles balance without us thinking about it. Now consider this, how a breakdown in just one, maybe seemingly small, essential connection like a single ligament stabilizing a joint, or the delicate microscopic barrier of the alveoli trying to perform gas exchange, how that failure can cascade through this highly organized, interdependent machine. So thinking about the whole magnificent system, which of these small, absolutely essential components, which one do you think might be the single most vulnerable point? Where's the Achilles heel? Maybe. That's something to keep exploring on your own.